Well, howdy do, everybody. Oh, no, I don't like that. Okay, hello, everybody. Welcome to Attitudes with Andy. My name is Andy, and this is a place where we get to learn and grow together on how we can be our healthiest, wealthiest, and most importantly, happiest selves. So today, we're going to be talking about fear, taking risks, and living in true alignment with who you actually want to be. But before we do, I would like to start with a little story. It obviously relates to this topic. Okay, so the other day I was with my pals and we're all hanging out in Burley, and then this man walked past and he knew one of my friends, so they were chatting. And then I was like, oh, I've actually met you one time at this like social event. And he was like, oh, no way. Anyway, this guy is 42, by the way. This is important for the story. Okay, anyway, and then we were talking, and then I was just asking about what he did, and he has a very high-end, high-paying job in like sales and stuff, and he's very successful in it. And he was very good at like regurgitating what his company does. And I was just thinking, oh, wow, like he really knows what he's doing. And then I asked him like, oh, are you living the dream then? And then he was like, oh, I mean, not really, like it pays well, but like I'd rather be doing something else. And I said, oh, okay, well, like what would you rather be doing? And he said, I honestly am really passionate about self-development and I would really like to be doing coaching. And then he started speaking about it and why it's important to him and all of this. And like his energy completely changed. When he spoke about it, his eyes lit up and he was just, I could just tell he was filled with joy, and I was feeling his energy, and it was just, wow, I feel really hippie. I was feeling his energy, but no, seriously, I was. And it was just amazing. And I was like, oh, well, why don't you start doing that? And then he was just like, oh, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just like fear. There's fear there. And then we were breaking it down and you know, he was just like, I don't know why I've never done it. Yeah, I guess I'm fearful and I don't know where to start and all of these things. Anyway, and it was really funny because me and my friend Sammy, who's been on the podcast, we were like hyping him up. We're like, no, you can do it and all of this, and giving him some things to think about. But I just loved that I'm 24 and he's 42. Oh my God, it's our ages in reverse. Anyway, but basically I left that conversation feeling very, not sad, but I just realized, holy schnitzels, like fear never goes away. It doesn't go away the older you get. It doesn't work like that. So if you think like, oh, I'm just going to play it safe now and I'll be brave later, I don't think it works like that at all. This person's 42 and still hasn't sent it in their dreams, even though they're very financially secure. I believe they don't have a family that depend on them for financial reasons, because I think that's a whole different kettle of fish. Like I think if you're supporting a whole family like that, probably it's very scary. But I think they are just an independent human, right? So they have the financial stability. They've been around on this earth almost double my age, and they are still fearful of going and doing their thing. And I'm so grateful for that conversation, because I needed to know that fear never goes away. It really doesn't. And I think maybe you get better at being like, oh, okay, here it is again. Here's the fear. What am I fearing? Okay, let's just do it anyway. And I think practicing just sending it, even when you're scared, even when you don't know what's going to happen, maybe makes it easier to take the leap. Actually, I think it would make it easier to take the leap. Okay, so there's that story for you just to ponder on, just to kind of prove that like fear never goes away. And the next thing I want to talk about is playing it safe. Okay, so we're talking about fear a little bit. We're going to come full circle. Sorry, there's a bit of an ADHD conversation, but we love it. Okay, so I hear so much, and it makes me want to barf in my mouth when I hear it. Sorry to say, but it does. Is when people talk about, oh yeah, my job, it's really safe. Oh yeah, it's really secure. And I'm like, what? What? Yeah, people will literally go after safe and secure jobs, right? And I just think that is absolutely bananas, because I think there is nothing safe about taking a quote unquote safe job, especially like people rave about government jobs. Oh, they're so safe and they pay so well and they have this holiday leave. I think that, and like if you're passionate about it, that's great, send it. But if you're not passionate about it and you're just doing it because it's a safe job, I think that's the stupidest thing you could ever do. Because then you're going to be, say if you stay in that job till you're 50, and then you get to 50 and you kind of wake up one day and you're like, whoa, this time just flew. Where did it go? What have I done? I don't feel like a human. I don't feel myself. I'm just showing up and doing the same thing every single day. And then they're like, oh, well, I'm too old to make a change. So, which by the way is a limiting belief, but anyway, I'm too old to make a change. So I'm just going to continue doing this thing. And then they get to retirement and they're like, wow, imagine if I had done this, or imagine if I had done that. Like, the reason I say it's not safe is because, one, maybe you will stay in that job for your whole life. Okay. And then you'll be plagued with what if and the regrets. Okay. Like, we're literally going to die. I know I say that so much. I talk about that so much, that we're going to die. Okay, but we really, really are. And if you haven't experienced the loss of someone or a near-death experience, like, maybe you don't truly kind of feel it in your bones, but please understand, you will not be on this earth forever. Okay? You won't. And yeah, you can do this secure and safe job, but at what cost? Your literal life? Time that you cannot get back? That is crazy. It is absolutely wild to me. Second of all, the place you're working for can go bankrupt. You can get fired. Nothing is certain and nothing is secure. I have a few friends who recently lost their job, and they kind of happened all at once. And I have another friend who's like having to lay off people. They're not a boss. They just is part of their job. Anyway, and so it's just an example that, like, yeah, things aren't certain and things aren't safe. And I think it's Jim Carrey who talks about how he watched his dad follow the safe path, I think, of maybe being an accountant or something. Anyway, and then he watched him be made redundant. And Jim said he failed at something that he didn't even want to do. And so it's like, well, you may as well go after this thing that you do want to do. And if you don't know what it is, that's fine. Just go be curious and try lots of things. But I think playing it safe is the stupidest thing. And if you speak to any successful person or any happy person, they will never ever say, I played it safe. I got to here because I played it safe and I took no risks. And that's what I feel like majority of the people are doing, is we're playing it so safe. We're taking no risks and we're just living the mundane, average life. And like, if that's what you love and that's what you enjoy, that's awesome. Like, keep doing that, obviously. But if you're wondering, sitting there at work, at your desk thinking, is this it? Is this everything? The answer is no, it's not it. And there is so much more out there, and there are things that can light your heart and soul on fire. You have to be brave to risk it. And any time I have taken a risk, it has always paid off. And I do believe the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. I am not talking about gambling though, or financial stuff, okay? Obviously we want to be smart with our dollars. But I'm talking about if you're questioning whether to leave your job for this business that you've started on the side, but you need more time and energy to work on it for it to really take off, why not go do that? The biggest risk would be not taking it. Like, the biggest risk would be like being like, oh no, I just want the financial security, so I'm just not going to do that. Because then you'll always wonder, what if I had to just focus all my time and energy on that other business and it had taken off? Stephen Bartlett from the Diary of a CEO talks about, I don't know the wording for it, but he was talking about choices. And some choices are like once in a lifetime choices and other choices are reversible. For example, he recently got a videographer, who is going to be following around Stephen to help him with his behind the scenes YouTube channel. Okay, now if you don't know Stephen Bartlett, he's one of the biggest podcast hosts in the world. He's huge. He's popping and he's great. Anyway, and so this guy who he chose was at university And this guy chose to drop out of university to work for Stephen and follow Stephen around, meeting all these multi-millionaire, if not billionaire, successful people for their interviews and watching how Stephen, who's a multi-millionaire, lives his life. Which one do you think will teach you more about life? 1, going to university, or 2, following around one of the most successful podcast people in the world and meeting all these amazing people. Now, what he explained is that the videographer's choice to drop out of uni, if he continues working for Stephen and is like, oh, I really regret dropping out of uni, he can then be like, sorry, Stephen, I actually don't want to work for you, and go back to uni. It is reversible, okay? You can go back, right? But if he was like, no, I'm not going to take this job to continue doing uni, and he did uni, and then he was like, oh my God, I really regret not working for Stephen. Can I come back? The opportunity is 99.9% not going to be there, right? It's irreversible. It's an irreversible choice. So I think if you're ever choosing between two things, think which one's reversible and which one's not reversible. Because if you're thinking of dropping out of uni, of quitting your job, of starting a business and all these things, which one's reversible and which one isn't really, really helps me. Because if you quit your job and you give your passion or whatever it is a hard crack and you go travel and you go all do these things and then you're like, you know what, I actually really liked the industry I was in. I want to go back. You can go back. You really can. Okay? Whereas if you don't and you just stay, then you're going to get to an age where maybe you're 30, mid-30s, 40s, whatever, and then suddenly you look around and you're like, oh my God, I have a partner, I have kids, now I can't take the risk. Now it's too risky. Okay, so I think if you're in your 20s or any age, but I always think in your 20s is the time to just YOLO, send it. And if you make a stupid decision, it's not really stupid because you're learning from it, right? So that's my passion, is telling people to quit their jobs and to just send it and just know that nothing is safe and nothing is secure, and to use that as your advantage. You could be fired tomorrow. Yes, you might need warning, you might have 6 weeks notice or whatever, but you really can be let off. And there is so much more out there, and you have to be willing to take the risks. And you should feel sick with fear. If you feel sick to your stomach with fear, then that's the thing that you need to do. They say the thing you fear the most is the thing you need to do the most. And I hope that each and every one of you have something in your mind right now that you're thinking that you need to do. And if you do have that and you need some encouragement, please message it to me, because I would love to know what it is and I'd love to give you a little bit of encouragement. Okay, thank you for listening to my rant. I'm just going to quickly check that I ticked everything off in this rant. Yeah, no, I did. Okay, I have a little notepad there. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to pass it to a friend who you feel might need to hear this. Feel free to screenshot it and put it on your story and tag me on Instagram at AttitudesWithAndy. Whatever platform you're on, I'd be so grateful if you could please subscribe and follow, as that truly supports the channel more than you ever know. And thank you so much for being here. It's always an honor and a pleasure having you listen to my voice. I love you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.